καλησπερίζω στην παρουσίαση της EOS R. Ένας από τους πρώτους δημοσιογράφους που ήρθε στον χώρο με ρώτησε ποιο είναι πιο δυνατή ατάκα, θα έλεγα, τι είναι αυτό που προσδιορίζει το νέο σύστημα. Θα έλεγα ότι επαναπροσδιορίζει τα μελλοντικά σύνορα της φωτογραφίας και της κινηματογραφίας. Καλώ στο βήμα τον κύριο Σωτήρη Παπαξιτόπουλο, Country Director της Canon Ελλάδος, να απευθύνει σύντομο χαιρετισμό.
Καλησπέρα. Πρώτα απ' όλα σας καλωσορίζω και από την πλευρά μου για που βρίσκεται σήμερα κοντά μας. Εκ μέρους όλης της ομάδας της Canon χαιρόμαστε ιδιαίτερα που είστε σήμερα κοντά μας για την πρώτη επίσημη παρουσίαση στην Ελλάδα του νέου συστήματος EOS R. Το νέο σύστημα συνδυάζει και την καινοτομία και την πρωτοποριακή τεχνολογία της Canon, που θα έχετε τη δυνατότητα και να ακούσετε και να δείτε και να τη δοκιμάσετε. Η Canon είναι ένας καινοτόμος και δυναμικός οργανισμός που λανσάρει περίπου 100 προϊόντα κάθε χρόνο. Οι καινοτομίες τους αναγνωρίζονται παγκοσμίως και αυτό το βλέπουμε και όχι μόνο από τα διεθνή βραβεία, αλλά ένα κάτι μοναδικό είναι η μοναδική εταιρεία και πολλές φορές βλέπουμε ότι είναι μπροστά από πολλές εταιρείες όπως είναι η Apple, η Google και η Intel. Η Canon, για να ξέρετε, επενδύει 9% του παγκόσμιου τζίρου της κάθε χρόνο, περίπου 2,5 δις σε νέες καινοτομίες και προϊόντα, και αυτό είναι κάτι που μας έχει χαρίσει πολλές πρωτιές και επιτυχίες. Αυτό που με χαροποιεί εμένα ιδιαίτερα είναι ότι η Canon επενδύει και στην Ελλάδα, και θα σας δώσω κάποια παραδείγματα. Επενδύει και στην Ελλάδα και παρόλο την δέσμευση της εταιρείας τόσο για τους Έλληνες καταναλωτές όσο και για τις ελληνικές επιχειρήσεις. Για παράδειγμα, δεν ξέρω αν το έχετε ακούσει, αλλά πριν μερικούς μήνες το Ευρωπαϊκό Κέντρο Προϊόντικης Υποστήριξης εδρεύει πλέον στην Αθήνα. 400 θέσεις εργασίας, υποστηρίζει 22 ευρωπαϊκές χώρες, 18 γλώσσες. Επίσης, επενδύουμε στους Έλληνες μεταβολητές με νέα προγράμματα και βέβαια είμαστε στο τελικό στάδιο στο να προσφέρουμε στους Έλληνες φωτογράφους, που είναι μέλη του CPS, την Platinum υπηρεσία. Πριν σας αφήσω να απολαύσετε και χαιρόμαστε ιδιαίτερα αυτή την παρουσίαση της EOS R, θα ήθελα για άλλη μια φορά να σας ευχαριστήσω που είστε σήμερα κοντά μας. Ευχαριστώ.
Ευχαριστώ, Σωτήρη. Η επόμενη παρουσία θα γίνει από τον πρώτο specialist, κύριο Φέρινγκ Τόροκ. Έχει έρθει από τα κεντρικά μας από την Βιέννη. Θα είναι στα αγγλικά. And I'm welcoming Ferry to tell us a little bit more about the EOS R system. Ferry, the stage is yours.
Thank you. You have to handle the clicker because I left something in my third hand. Good evening. I think fantastic. I should say fantastic. Thanks for the great team that the room is so much for so many people. I'm really happy that so many people are interested in our new product. Actually, not only a product with the system. So I've been, I think, more than 24 years with Canon already now. So when I started, everything was more or less based on analog technology. At that time, we called it film. I think there are some people, as I see look around, still remember these funny things, and there are some people who just know it about the history books or the education material. And I lived some important launches. Of course, I was not there when we started the EOS system, but I was there when we changed to digital from analog. I was there when we introduced stabilizing lenses and things like that. So I lived through quite a lot of history within Canon, and I feel and strongly believe that this launch, the EOS R system, is at least as important as the EF system, the EF mount launch was more than 30 years ago. But before, let's say, going into the details, just a few highlights of the journey where we started. So actually we launched the EOS system with the camera called EOS 650. It was more than 30 years ago. And the good thing was with this one, it's actually changed the photography from being a mechanical control of camera lenses, focusing and all these things, to pure electronic context, electronic communication. At that time, many people were saying in the industry that a decision from Canon to change the FD mount, the EF mount, was a very risky decision, because actually it made photographers to switch lenses. Forget the old FD mount and switch to the EF mount. Competition was actually very heavy and hard at that time, and the important thing that we know and we knew that changing the mount gives us so much benefit, or not for us but photographers, so much benefit that it makes them happy to change. And the things were true, became true. So in these 30 years, actually Canon produced 130 million, or more than 130 million EF lenses. It's a huge number. And also we produced more than 90 million cameras. Currently we have roughly 80 lenses on the market. If we include the cinema lenses, then we have more than 93. So it's a huge population, a huge base of lenses, and it also makes us really think how to step forward, how to go forward, not to leave all these equipment on the market, out with ownership with the people, just to be thrown away. During this time, we launched several new technologies. Image stabilization lenses, 1995, quite a long time ago. Different technologies, ultrasonic motors, STM, nano USM, and all the other things, diffractive optical elements and things. And the latest was the dual pixel focusing. And actually, this helped us, again, to be the #1 in many areas. Dual pixel focusing is also working in our cinema cameras, cinema lineup, and bringing us the most recognized focusing system today, autofocusing system today. So with thinking about this one, just a short video, how we got here. Sound. There should be sound in the video.
New stories to tell.
New things to say.
New places to go.
New minds to change.
As storytelling evolves, so must our tools.
We've engineered what's possible.
So you can tell the greatest stories.
And capture the previously impossible.
Pioneering optical system.
A new approach.
This is the first chapter.
Of a new story.
Introducing Canon EOS R.
So as it was also heard in the movie, with EOS R, we are not just launching a full-frame SLR. Launching a new mount system. We are opening a new chapter in Canon history. So we have 30 years EF mount, and now we are coming up and releasing something which would be our future for the next 30 years. So actually the EOS R as a camera is just meaning the first chapter, or a new chapter in our story. Usually photographers demanding, they're getting more and more, they want to do more, they want to do low light and things. So they are expecting much more from the camera. So in order to cope with in order to cope with those demands, we have to rethink what is necessary for the next 30 years. What is the technical background we should put into the next camera? Also, not forgetting that we have a huge number of lenses and equipment outside on the market, photographers using it, and they still want to use it because they are good, they are excellent equipment. So we have to have 100% or even more than 100% compatibility with the existing equipment. So in order to create this new system, actually engineers got back and went down to the scratch. So they went back to the basics and started building the system from the ground. So actually what they came up with is a totally new optical system. It's a totally new optical design, which will allow us also today and also in the future to come up with lenses with much higher quality, much higher resolution, better contrast, better optical system. So actually what we launched right now is the mount. The mount which is the basic of communication between the lens and the camera body. So actually, EOS R is not standalone equipment. EOS R is not something new, and we should forget everything else which was behind. EOS R is member of our family. And we believe that these high-performance lenses and the equipment and the possibilities we offer with the EOS R will help photographers to go further, to achieve better, to be able to tell better stories. So actually, let's look what is EOS R is. Actually, it stands on 4 pillars. The first one is the mount. As I said, the mount system. It's a 54mm diameter lens mount. Actually, it's the same size as the EF mount we had before. And it's very simple. The engineers start thinking about what's the best diameter. Make it smaller, make it bigger, and it just came up that 54mm was just the right size we have. The other pillar is the short back focus. Previous with the EF system, we had something called the mirror inside, which was necessary there because all the thing evolved from film. So because of film, we had to have something so that we could see what we are shooting. But now today, sensors doesn't require. So actually, they were deciding what is the best formation. And they come up that a mirrorless structure will help us in the future. And if it's a mirrorless, what would be the back focus? Make it short, make it big. They was thinking, what is the optimum? And they found out after several discussions and things that 20mm gave us the optimum. as a flange back. The third thing is communication. And this is a very important thing because the lens communicates with the body. So EOS R gives a much faster communication than it was possible with the EF. It's much faster. And because of this one, the EOS R is something called bilingual camera, what I would say, just to make it simple. The EOS R is capable to speak to a lens like an EOS camera does, an EF lens, when you attach an EF lens on it. Or if you attach an RF lenses on it, RF lens on it, then it will switch to the RF communication protocol and speak natively to that. And this brings us back to the third pillar, which is compatibility with the present system. So actually, I would say the camera is as compatible with the EF lenses as we have our EOS cameras today. The camera speaks natively to the EF lenses. So when you think about compatibility, will the EOS R system will be compatible with my old lenses? How many percent, whatever? It's 100%. It's natively speaking to the EF lenses. It just gets better when you switch to RF lenses, and then it will give the latest technology communication. So we have the lens, we have the large diameter, which is again necessary to have the stable connection and also necessary to gather light and project light to the sensor. The back focus, I told you before, it's short, it's 20 millimeter. And actually, because of this short back focus, the whole optical system could be redesigned. It totally changed the way we design lenses. So if you look internal structure of an EF lens, you'll find it totally different than the lens we have in the EOS R. And this change of the optical system will allow us to create lenses, zoom lenses 2.8, which we have also launched, or the 50mm 1.2 with much higher quality and better parameters and resolution than it was possible in the EOS, in the EF system. And the communication, which is again, I just have to stress it, and this is why it's 2 times, I'm telling you 2 times, because these are the most important things. How many megapixels, what? It's not really important. The important is how the whole system works together. And this was the revolutionary thing with the EF system, with the EOS system, that it switched away from mechanical communication or connection to pure electronic. The lens had the microchip inside, the body had the microchip inside, the flash had the microchip inside, and electrically, like a computer bus, they were communicating to each other. But today, technology gives us a possibility to make this much higher speed, which results in more precise focusing, more precise stabilization, more precise aperture control, and so on and so on. So actually, it is going through all these things, the high image quality, higher functionality, and 100% compatibility, or even more than 100%. I will tell you why. So we have all these lenses. So don't be afraid. It works without any problem. And it also works with the new lenses, which is coming out and we launched right today. 35, 24, 105, 2870, and 50. And you can ask, okay, yes, EOS R. What is our roadmap? What is our, let's say, vision about the new lenses? How will they perform? But I would say that we are not really releasing roadmaps for the future lens because anything can change, whatever. But what we tell you that we are taking the EOS R system seriously. So these silhouettes behind are all RF lenses for the new system. And to see more or less how they will come to the market, I will show you in the next slide. This means you'll release a number of lenses in the couple of years coming. So we have EOS R not as just a single full frame body. We have the new member in our EOS family. So we have cameras, small and compact interchangeable lens cameras like the EOS M system, make it small and compact. We have APS-C cameras, and we have our full frame optical or mirror cameras, the classical design. And the newcomer is part of this family. Some highlights of the feature. Because always there has to be something great. We have the world's fastest autofocus system offered by the EOS R when using mirrorless design. We have the world's first camera shooting up to -6 EV. You can ask, how dark is -6 EV? I will tell you it's very dark, to make it simple and precise. If you would go into an environment with -6 EV, your eyes could adapt after roughly 1 minute, and still you could only see some silhouettes. So it's very dark. We have a 35mm full frame CMOS sensor. We do our pixel focusing. Sometimes people say, hey, the EOS R has 5D Mark IV sensor. It's not 5D Mark IV, it's based on 5D Mark IV. 5D Mark IV sensor is the basic architecture for this new sensor, which means that everything what you can achieve on 5D Mark IV, you will have also on the EOS R. Plus, because of the Digic 8, some additional functionalities can be performed by the camera, so you even get better functionalities, just the 40,000 ISO limit, which is not possible with 5D4. We have touch and drag focusing, and we have 5,655 AF positions. It's a lot. But on the belief, to be the truth, we have 30 million focusing pixels, because every single pixel behaves as a focusing pixel. We cannot say we can use 30 million pixels as focusing pixels. So we said, okay, out of these 30 million, you can select 5,655 different positions. What is the benefit? You have a seamless focusing transition when you go from A to B. So it means you can focus anywhere. You're not sticking to dedicated focusing point. And then, of course, stylish, a nice body, and 4K video, just to make it, let's say, ready for today's requirements. One interesting thing which was required by many photographers is silent shooting. It's beautiful. It's really silent. Of course, it uses electronic shutter, but you cannot hear anything when using the silent mode. So you can just take pictures of situations where you cannot disturb the environment. We also have a high resolution 3.66 million dots viewfinder, which covers 100% coverage. I was, if you go back, to be honest, I'm an old guy. I grew on analog system, and so my preference is also is still optical viewfinder. I'm an optical guy, but for me, it was a huge surprise how good this technology is getting today. We have basically no blackout. You don't lose anything. And when you use the electronic viewfinder on situations, especially in dark environments, it's like using night goggles or night vision glasses, because it enhances the image. It gives you can see what your naked eye cannot see, which helps a lot. Still, I don't believe it's a professional camera in a sense that it won't replace 1DX Mark II. People shooting action photography or football or sports or whatever, they will still be happy with the 1DX. But this camera still can be a part of their kit bag, giving them possibilities which could not be reached before their present equipment. And also today, videography is getting more important. So it's also have advanced video functions. It's not a video camera. It's not meant for cinematography. But it has strong video functions for those ones who want to add video to their photographic world. Also, personalization of the camera. It is the most personalizable camera till today. The Arab system has their the control ring, and this control ring, thank you. This control ring is an additional control which plays on the lenses. You can assign functions, like let's say ISO or whatever, and then you can just turn the ring and change the ISO. You can do it from the menu, no problem. We have the touch bar over here. This is also a special control, which means that you have 3 controls in one. You have one endpoint, you can assign a function to one end, you can assign another function to the other end, and you have the slider in between where you can also assign functions. So for example, if I want to use ISO here, put 100 here, maybe 6400 here, and in between I just slide it and change this, the settings seamlessly when I need to. But it's really nice. Maybe you have to get used to it, of course. I mean, but still, the touch focusing at the end. You can use the screen as a touch panel, and then you can move your finger while you're looking through the viewfinder to select focus. It's really beautiful. And we have the lenses with the future. And in order to be compatible, we have a range of mount adapters. We released basically 3 mount adapters. One is a simple mount adapter. It fits EF lenses to EOS R body. And then we have some additional functionalities. We have an adapter with a control ring. So your EF lenses doesn't have a control ring. But if you like it, with the control ring adapter, you add the control ring functionality to your EF lenses. So this means it's even giving you more than you could have before. Or it has drop-in filters. So circular polarizer or gradual ND, you have it. So if you want to use filters with your lens, your EF lenses, field shift or fisheye or all these strange lenses which are quite difficult to fit any filters on it, or you have to have a huge size of filters, you can use it. And just to show you that we did not forget the people who are shooting our old equipment. We also launched 2 lenses recently for them, which is the world's lightest telephoto lens. So 400 millimeter and a 600 millimeter. It's just 1 kilo less than the previous. If you're working with this lens all day, 1 kilo means a lot. Or you have to carry it in your kit bag. And just for those people who are using as a secondary camera our EFM bodies, we launched a new lens for them, a fixed lens, the EFM 32mm lens, fixed lens, which is again giving a much higher quality to the ESM system, which the previous lenses been. Of the EOS R, and well, we can say nice things to it always. Thank you. So we can say nice things to it, but let's see what some people who are using photography for the living are